Hello, everyone. As Kanat said, my name is Eric Wente, and I work at NUFYP, well, CPS, and I am the Senior Teaching Fellow for Student Advising. And so today we're going to talk to you a little bit about the support services that are available in NUFYP if you're considering coming to NU and joining NUFYP. So just to start things off, I'll give you a little overview of what we'll talk about today. First, we'll talk about information about the student advisor, my position, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the personal tutor system, which is the teaching fellows that work here in NUFYP and the way that they sort of monitor student progress and keep up with them. We'll talk about some of the skills that students will learn and what they should try to build as far as skills before they come to NUFYP to increase their success. The Student Affairs Manager, Isulu, will explain a little bit about her role and introduce herself. And she'll talk about the Academic Learning Center and the NUFYP Student Council. And then at the end of this, we have our contact details for Isulu and I. If you have any questions for us, you're welcome to email us and we can help you sort things out if you have any questions after this presentation. So, as far as the student advisor position goes, like I said, I am the student advisor. And the real focus of my role is to make sure that students who join NUFYP are able to progress at the end of the academic year. So we teach 3 courses in NUFYP. We have leadership, mathematics, and English for academic purposes. And so those courses are 1 year long. They start in the fall and they end at the end of the spring semester. And my role is to work really closely with the students and the teaching fellows, because students, as they come to NUFYP, will be transitioning, right? And there are some challenges associated with going from high school to university life. And so my job is to work with students and help them sort things out. So I build things like academic skills, help with time management, talk with students about some of the personal issues that they're dealing with or they're struggling with if they have those. And, just handle day-to-day life things like difficulties with roommates. Sometimes I kind of help monitor those things and offer some advice. And I also refer students to different resources that they might need here on campus. And so throughout the year, I'll check in with students and I'll see how their classes are going. We also have a referral system that we use, and it's not anything punitive, so students aren't in trouble if they're referred to me by their professor. It's really just our support system that we have in place. And so we use something called a cause for concern. And what that is if a student's falling behind in their work, or if there's something that's happened all of a sudden and the quality of their work or their attendance changes, then a teacher might let me know and I can reach out to the student and just make sure everything's okay. And as I said, my goal is to make sure that the students get the support that they need, because we really, really want the students to go through this program and come out more prepared and more confident in their English abilities, their math abilities, and their leadership skills when they go into undergraduate, so that they can be better than what they would have been had they maybe considered going directly into their undergraduate program. And so just to explain a little bit about the personal tutor system, because I mentioned that I work closely with the teaching fellows. The teaching fellows here, they meet, well, the EAP teaching fellows meet with students once per week for 30-minute one-to-one tutorials. And so what that means is that a student is assigned a personal tutor, and that's a teaching fellow, it's a professional academic faculty member, and they will meet with the student individually for dedicated time. And it's 30 minutes once a week. The student is responsible for coming to those sessions with questions. They can be academic in nature. Sometimes they're personal in nature, but mostly it's academic, and they focus on things they might have missed in class or not understood, some things they might need extra help with. And so we feel that building that relationship with this tutor is an integral part of making sure that students have an academic person that they meet with and they can ask those questions from so they can ensure their success. And as far as the skills that I mentioned, I think that students come in and they're a little bit nervous about being at university. They're a little bit nervous about being in NUFYP. And so I try to encourage students to make sure they're asking questions. I want them to understand everything that's going on in the classroom, outside of the classroom, things that have to do with student life and student affairs, right? I want them to be able to self-advocate for themselves, right? So being able to ask the questions, but also being able to say what it is that they need from their faculty members. And then lastly, seeking feedback. It's important for students to rely on their fellow classmates if they need to get some feedback on presentation, homework, different material from class, but also to go and seek out their professors and talk to them excuse me, during office hours so that they can ask questions and make sure they understand assignments and get clarity on things. And so these are really the skills that I think students come in and sometimes they don't realize they're allowed to do these things, but I want them to know that they can. The other thing is balance, right? Students come to NU and they live in the dormitories and maybe this is their first time away from home. And so maybe one of these areas, excuse me, starts to take over a little bit between schoolwork, social life, and personal well-being. And really, it's being able to sort of keep all three of these things in harmony and balance them all so that schoolwork doesn't dominate your life, right? Or that you continue to have a social life and you make friends and you integrate yourself into the community here at NU, and that you take care of yourself. You get plenty of sleep, you're eating well, keeping up with laundry, doing all those things that maybe you had someone else who could handle those tasks or help with those tasks before. And so those are the skills that I think are very important for students as they kind of matriculate from high school into undergraduate or university life. And so I will hand things over now to my colleague, Isulu, and she'll tell you a little bit about the Student Affairs Manager position.
Hi, everyone. I'm really glad to join you today. I'm Student Affairs Manager at CPS, and mostly my responsibilities all connected with non-academic matters, everything connected with social life of the students. The students usually ask me some questions about the dormitories, maybe some documents they need to get, some questions regarding military service, and oftentimes I direct students to those departments and people who can help them in this matter. I am also responsible for tracking students' attendance. We do attendance report once in a 2 week to see what students are falling behind, and we usually reach those students by email, and we want to support we want to provide any support that we can. We want to help them if they have some personal issues so that they can fully enjoy the academic life in NUFYP. I'm also responsible for communicating with parents, since parents always worry about their children. They want to know everything about their children's life in the university. Therefore, I'm responsible for answering their questions and leading the communication. Also in NUFYP, we have student council. I will be talking about that a little bit later. but me and Eric, we work together with student council members, and we help them to organize some meetings in our department. So next thing I want to explain is Academic Learning Center. It is one of the academic supports that we provide in NUFYP. Our teaching fellows offer 25-minute one-to-one consultations to students who need additional support in their studies. Also, teaching fellows who work in Academic Learning Center usually offer some short courses which are focused on academic skills such as grammar, vocabulary, reading, listening, everything which needs to be improved for our students. Also, there are some speaking circles organized by Academic Learning Center where students are divided into groups, and they share their thoughts, interests in one of the topics which was decided before. The next source that we offer is NUFYP Student Council. Actually, this is one of the greatest opportunities for our students, and I can say that quite a lot of students are interested in becoming a member of the Student Council. This, let's say, student organization is run by NUFYP students, and there are currently 3 departments: academic, social, and PR. Academic department deals with organizing some academic events, meetings with alumni, organizing some interviews with teaching fellows. Social department is responsible for organizing some funny events which can bring together the whole NUFYP students. And PR team is mostly responsible for creating content on our social media, Instagram, website. They write some articles, they provide some video content. As I said before, student council members are responsible for organizing events. They conduct interviews. They also represent student body in different committees in the university. And at the end of the year, when students are done with their exams, when they are finally, let's say, graduate from the program, they earn certificates from the general director of CPS, and it is great opportunity to fill up their profiles. Also, I wanted to mention that one of the biggest perks of being a student council member is memories, the joy, because every member of the student council shares that they really enjoy the process of organizing the event. For example, last week, our students organized welcome party to NUFYP students. They organized board games, they organized speed dating event, and a lot of students participated in this event, and a lot of them really enjoyed the process. Now here you can see our contacts. If you have any questions regarding what we've provided today, you can feel free to email us. You can see our email address. Now, Kanat, is it good time to Q&A session?
Yes, we can start already Q&A session. So anyone who has a question can write the question in the chat box, or raise a hand and put the question directly. We have one question from Aijan in the chat box. Eric or Aisulu, can you answer to it?
Yeah, I can take this one. Aijan, thank you for your question. And just so that everybody else knows, it says, what is a progression rate? What percentage of the student progress to bachelor's after NUFYP? And so typically, we will have about 10% of our population of students that don't progress. And the reason for that, I mean, there's varying reasons, right? Sometimes people just aren't as engaged in class as they should be. But that means that about 90% of our students either progress completely or they're in sort of a, I don't know, I guess they're in a progression review by the schools where they can make decisions about the progression or not. So the majority of students, though, do progress at the end of the year.
Are there any other questions?
If there are no questions, I think we can finish the webinar, and we provided the contacts. If you have any other questions, you can email directly to us.